This is King Noble Black Supremacy. And with this particular video, I want to call Trump's condemnation of the KKK, neo-Nazis, and hate groups as meaningless and illogical. Totally meaningless and illogical. For one, these hate groups got Trump in office. So I don't know if he plans on being president again. If he do plan on being president again, and these same groups, the alt-right, white nationalist, conservative movement that he appealed to, if he planned on them helping him get back in office, then what he said is meaningless and illogical, because he's the one that inspired them and invigorated them for this white supremacy that we see going on today. They're not just white supremacists. They are Trump supporters. Bottom line. So it's illogical that he could possibly be against those who support him and are the main reason that he's in office. If you expect us to believe that, we'd have to be stupid. Second, we talk about free speech in America and the Constitution, but you use the United States government to condemn free speech. If this is a country that supports free speech, why would the United States government be used to condemn it? Because if you're condemned by the United States government, won't that affect your free speech or where you're free to speak at? Won't that kind of color you and put government funding and taxpayers' money behind this condemnation? If you're condemned, you're not going to be free to speak anywhere. That's going to impede upon your freedom of speech. So once again, it's the illusion of the freedom of speech. Once you condemn, that's it. Who's going to let you speak? What city, town going to let you speak? Second, while he condemns the neo-Nazis, the KKK, and hate groups who are the cause of the white domestic terrorism, they're the root cause of it, while he condemns them, is he going to go at them like he going at MS-13? Is he going to take down these KKK leaders and run these white supremacists, these KKKs, out of the United States of America? Is he going to lock them all up and put them in Guantanamo Bay? Or are these just empty moral condemnations? Because their speech and their organization obviously is leading to violence, murder, and death. Their speech of hatred and bigotry, racism, is leading to death and disarray and disorder in America. Is he going to crack down on them and shut down the KKK movement once and for all? Is he going to go at them like he is MS-13? I just want to know. Because they're in the jails right there with MS-13. The white supremacist neo-Nazi groups are just as criminal, just as much as a criminal enterprise as MS-13, just as dangerous, just as anti-government, anti-law, anti-order. Is he going to shut them down like MS-13? Probably not. That's what makes his speech meaningless and illogical, because he's not going to go at them with that kind of fervor. It's just a moral condemnation. You got to really look at this. Now, the third piece is he say hate groups because I bet you that he would move with more fire. He would move against so-called black groups that have been classified as hate groups in a more harsher way than he would the white groups. So some of y'all are happy clapping that he condemned the white supremacists for their free speech and freedom of assembly. Some of y'all are happy that he's going at them, not looking at who else he would classify as a hate group and how disproportionately he would attack black hate groups or black groups that are considered hate groups with more force than he would attack white groups. How they use the power of condemnation to try to destroy and defame and limit and block and color people's freedom of speech. So the KKK don't really have to worry, or the neo-Nazis or the alt-right, people that actually help him get in office, some that he put in his cabinet, like Banyan, they don't really have to worry. It's the black groups that they're going to start using this narrative on, of hate groups. Just mark my word. See, it's a loaded gun at black. Whenever you hear him make a speech like this, you think he's talking about the white groups. No. You'll see. You'll see what they got planned, what they got brewing. Now you listen to the speech and you say, well, it's a lot of contradictions because the so-called Constitution and the fundamental principles of which this government stands are meaningless and illogical, because you can't really run a government based on principles that are left up for interpretation. But they try in America, which is why this senseless shit keeps reoccurring. But they say, all men are created equal. But yet we're all equal under law. You just said two different things. If we're all created equal, why would we need law to be equal under? Did you ever ask yourself that? He said all men are created equal. That's what they believe in the Constitution. Then why would we need law and law enforcement? Why would we have to be equal under man-made law if we're created equal, if we're by the Creator? That just shows you how senseless it is. Then if the Constitution says all men are created equal, then that kind of throws out some of your immigration policy. Because it didn't say in the Constitution that all Americans are created equal. It said all men are created equal, all men. So are all men that are not Americans, that are in America treated as equal to Americans? Are they created equal? Are they treated equal under the law of America? That don't make any sense. Do you really believe that? If you believe all men are created equal, then why is this idea of being an American, why does it have more value? Why are we fighting for the protection of Americans and American citizens if all men are created equal? Why is there a boundary? And why are the laws of which all men are equal under being enforced in a way that leans towards white Americans being a superpower? If all men are created equal, that means the immigrants that are over here are equal to us. So why are we taking them back to Mexico? They have an equal right to be in this country or any land that God created. We all have the same almighty creator. According to Trump, But what makes us important is that we all respect the same flag. See, this is confusing. I'm telling you, America is fundamentally, philosophically flawed. And that's why this fuckery continues to go on and will continue to go on, because it is illogical. It does not even make sense. It is an advanced code. All men are created equal, but we create minorities unequal. And people that are not Americans are not treated as equal to Americans that are in this country and on this land. They got to be vetted like animals and dogs to be able to come over here. And that we are created equal. But then we need to be equal under law. Because we're not equal under God. So we need law in order to be equal under. But those laws are not created equally for blacks and whites. Because the laws change from state to state, city to city, county to county, municipality to municipality. So under which laws are you talking about? Are you talking about under the Constitution, or are you talking about state laws or municipal codes? So we're not created equal under all laws. Because some laws are more racially charged, racial profiling, stop and frisk. Some of these laws, we're not equal under these laws, and we're being mistreated under law. And under the law, black people are filling up the prison industrial complex under law. If we're all equal under law, and if all men are created equal, then all men everywhere in the world are created equal, then why do you have a problem with the men over here having nuclear weapons, but the men over there can't have nuclear weapons? If all men are created equal, it didn't say all Americans. It didn't say all white Americans. It said all men. And if we accept and embrace that all men are created equal, then the boundaries of America no longer exist. And then we unify beyond American citizenship, and we unify as humanity. We have global and universal unity. But y'all don't believe all men were created equal. That's not what y'all really carry out or believe. Because y'all decide what equality is. We don't equally decide what's to be equally distributed. See, America makes no sense fundamentally. You fighting for something that is a contradiction at essence, that is completely illogical. So what you out there rallying for and protesting for doesn't make any sense. And it will continue to produce the same amount of disarray, savagery that you see. The more you fight for it, the more you expose the bullshit that it really is. I gotta go in that. If they really carried out, because for one, they don't believe these things, and two, that the American government would be completely annihilated if they tried. But there's no way that these principles can be really executed or you can really live by it, which is why you see the blatant contradictions that we see here in America. Because it's double-faced. It's a lie. It's a paradox. It's a contradiction. If all men are created equal, and if 12% of the population, black people, which is the number that they give, if the white people have the same equal power as 12% of the black population in America, we are inevitably moving towards black supremacy. I got to go in on this, because if 12% of the population has equal power to the other 80, then that 12% is so powerful, so special. If 12% has equal say to 98, then that 12%, the value of that 12% is as valuable as 90%, as 80%. Then this country would have to move towards black supremacy. That the value of minorities would be more valuable than white people in this country. That for every 10, the value of 10 Caucasians is the value of one minority, of one black. That one black is equal to 10 crackers. You know America don't want to face that. But when you start talking about trying to act out that all men are created equal and create equal opportunity in this country, you are moving towards black supremacy. Inescapably. And that's what the white nationalists realize, that they are being replaced, and that the value of blacks and minorities in this country is having more value than them, and they realize that. They realize that. That is a fact. If you try to carry that out, they will be unable to. And that's why we will see more fuckery in this country. We'll see more warfare and rallies and insurrections and uncivilized and brutal gatherings, because it's fundamentally flawed. It's a contradiction. It is a hypocrisy. That they're trying to keep going. How the hell you condemn the people that got you in office? And you expect us to believe that. And on some level, you believe that. You believe that you care more about justice and fairness for all Americans more than you care about your selfish ass self getting in office and staying in office. That you're going to sacrifice white power, white privilege, and white position for equal and fairness for all human beings. If that was the case, you would have to get rid of your immigration policy right now. So they just talking. It's a conversation. It's lip service. It's moral. Just moral conversation. It makes himself look good and feel good. But what does it look like at the end of the day? Are they really gonna go at the KKK as like they gonna go at MS-13? Is this country really moving towards black supremacy? Because if 12% of the population is equal to 90, then that 12% is greater than the 90, which makes the value of each individual in that 12 more valuable than the 90. Is the country really going for that? Really? It's illogical. And that's why we can't fix any problems in this country or do anything serious or sincere or create any practical social change. Because it's spooky. The same Almighty God created all of us. Where's the separation of church and state? Why was when things get out of control, they start trying to go back to God? Some Almighty God created this. This is King Noble Black Supremacy. Join my website, www.kingnobleuncensored.com. Donate, don't hate. Subscribe to my new YouTube page right now, King Noble Guru. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Also hit the bell. Make sure your notifications are on for this channel, so that you can get notifications whenever I put out my new information, new videos. You'll be the first to know. Black Supremacy.